Hello guys, welcome back to Proper Chat. I hope you're all well. We're here again with the Bearded Barber. Is it Beardy or Bearded? Beardy Barber.
Beardy, sorry.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, how we all do?
Not too bad. We'll go around the table and introduce ourselves, and we'll go from there. I think.
Yeah, crack
I
on.
think we've got a fun episode, maybe a long episode of the paranormal today. I quite like it.
Guys, that might smell.
That probably will smell.
What, the episode?
The
Oh my god!
just the episode.
Yeah,
But
cool.
first, introduce yourself, because we've changed names now, haven't we?
Oh no, yeah, well, I'm just, I'm Lewis, guys, my real name.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah,
It's out.
Nice and easy.
it's out, everyone knows. Yeah, Lewis. Yeah, and you?
Yeah, I'm Ash, so we'll go from there. We'll go around. Do you want to tell what?
Legitimate names.
Yeah,
What's going on?
I know, it's because we wanted it to be properly personal. And
Felt like you're lying.
at the beginning, we
Time,
started it. We're like, you know what? We're probably going to say stuff we don't really want to say, and then that can affect us in other stuff. And now
Yeah.
we're just like,
And it was also because you don't want people that you know to know it's you, because they're less likely to support you.
that's a big
Okay.
thing as well. Yeah,
Mm.
people that are your friends and family are less likely to support you than
If they thought it was just a random couple of
Absolutely.
people. Yeah,
exactly.
but
So
yeah,
what snack and drink have you got?
I've gone for the Tyrell's mature cheddar and chive,
Mm.
crispy crispies, and a Stella Artois Cidre.
Oh, stellarartosis.
Yes, sounds like an infectious disease. Can I get a Stella Artosis Cidre, please? Yeah, so I've gone with that. So I'll go with the crisps.
That's what they call a wife beater, isn't it?
Is it?
Stella.
It
Yeah,
is, yeah,
so
no,
it is, yeah.
I'm
So
surprised you're
this
not wearing
is
a tank
unconscious
top.
on the floor somewhere.
They're
Nothing
good.
special, these.
They're always good, but they're not.
Nothing
They're
special.
not out there, are they? I've got a.
They're nothing like that.
It actually looks like you haven't got an alcoholic beverage.
I haven't got. I'm driving home.
Okay,
When the
anyone's gonna help
studio's
themselves to them
set up.
anyway. Have a go.
Yeah,
So
we'll
the
get
crisps
this
aren't great. Not at £2
Right.
for a packet when I spent, what was that popcorn the other day?
Oh, that's cheap, wasn't it?
And that was a quid.
Pound.
I threw that
Pound
bag
for
away
it.
the other day.
You absolute, that is
It was
blasphemy.
in the back of the car. There was only half of it left, but it was
Yeah,
fucking
so that means there's still about 5 litres left.
Yeah.
Popcorn.
Yeah, that was unreal.
little world of tits.
And the cider. It doesn't really taste like.
And it tastes like any other cider.
Yeah, it's
I
just
suppose.
nothing special
Have you got
again.
the urge to hit your missus though?
Yeah, I'll be back in a couple of hours. I'll tell you if it was worth it.
Drive home, punch her, drive
She's still
back.
crying, boys. Yeah, so the cider was just cider. I'm not going to lie to you. When I saw this can, I thought they were cherries. So I thought it'd be like a flavoured cider.
No, is it
And it's
raspberry?
just a
No, it's just
standard
apples.
It's
Oh,
not-
no,
Weird
it's-
drawing of an
that
That is really bad advertisement. though, isn't
Yeah,
it?
so that's why it
this
is just a regular cider.
Stella, if you're listening,
Yeah,
sort yourself
change
out.
that because that looks like cherries, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It does.
So-
And I think they're just trying to corner a market that's already cornered, aren't they? They
They're
just
a bit
wanna
late
put
to the
another-
wagon there.
They
aren't
are.
they? So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Cider
Just
sort of
stick to
peaked.
shitty lager. And
It
don't
peaked a
ruin
couple of years
cider.
ago,
So how
cider.
can we ruin it?
And now gin's taken over. Cider was
Oh,
sort
gin's
of making its way onto the scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Right,
what
anyway.
have I got? I wanted a nice healthy drink today, so I said to
He
Lewis,
sits there
So I
with
bought
Pepsi
some
and
hand
one glass.
cream.
I said to Lewis, we pulled over at an off licence because he wanted cold drinks because Tesco's weren't having any drinks in their fridges. And I was like, get me one of them like innocent smoothie sort of things.
You
And
didn't say that was what I
Yeah.
told you. You said get me one of them
Like-
green drinks.
Yeah, you know them the green machine drinks.
Yeah, it could be
Yeah.
any other
The
brand,
ones that
by the
look
way,
quite
just
nice.
to say.
Could-
That
yeah,
could be an
brilliant.
innocence, maybe.
They don't pay
What
us
makes
for it.
them so innocent?
So now I've got a £1.15
done.
say hello aloe
Hello.
vera drink
Aloe vera.
with real aloe pieces and mango flavour.
Have you tried it yet?
No, I haven't.
I'd be
I'm
worried when it
already
says real aloe
I'm
pieces.
already
I'm
expecting.
kind of
it
worried
to
when
be
I like
shit,
rub
to be
aloe vera
honest.
into my skin.
Mm-mm.
And it's like, turns out it's.
To be honest, if it tastes horrible, you could always use it after lunch.
Yeah, true. It tastes like a mango drink with snoss in it. It's got
Oh, let's
like-
have a bit.
It's got like lumpy
Really
bits.
sold that,
Yeah.
ain't you? No
It's
thanks,
not
mate.
nice.
So it
It's
might-
not
it might
nice.
have a bit
I'll
of COVID,
probably
mate, that's
carry
all.
on drinking it, but it's not. The flavour's nice. It's the consistency.
This
It's
is
not.
so disgusting. It's like one of them wanks that you have.
Try that.
I'd sooner not, mate. The way you've described it, it's just it's not hitting me. To be
So
honest, mate.
that's not one for me. And
What
I've
has it
also
got bits like a lumpy orange juice?
Yeah, but it's like
Oh.
jelly. It's got like jelly in it.
Oh,
Maybe
I don't,
haven't
mate.
checked it out.
God, brilliant.
Sounds like
And
the
I've
worst
got-
thing I've ever heard.
I didn't know if I would like biltong because I've never had biltong before. I've got Kruger chili biltong. It's actually really good. pleasantly surprised, so I'll pass that round.
No, I'm alright.
I'm good, mate.
I'll have a bit of that, lovely.
Yeah, it's delicious.
You get loads in a pack. Normally Biltong you get
Yeah, you
mugged
get
off.
like 4 bits.
Yeah, that's mate. That has got some.
It's got a lot in it.
It has.
And I've got a trusty bit of Pepsi.
Oh, it's been
Max
out
to wash it down.
of date for 2 years.
Oh, that's
Imagine.
that's fine.
That's the point of Biltong. Leave it to
Yeah, to be honest-
go out a date.
To be honest, that is little bit disappointing. I don't expect it to be like rubbery. It's meant to be
Oh,
like.
thank you very much.
Rubber man.
It's nice that.
Hey, don't look it.
Juice get out.
Not for
I
Biltong.
like it. Flavour's good.
Oh, flavour's fantastic.
I've never had biltong before. Just
It's
like,
meant to be like leather. It's the only food where you expect it to be like leather, and that tastes more like rubber.
Just at the bottom of the shoe.
Mm.
Brilliant.
Yeah, as opposed to the top of it. Yeah. Right. Anyway.
Carl. What
Yeah,
have we got?
so obviously I'm Carl. I'm not actually
Back
called
again.
the Beardy Barber. Funny
You're
enough,
not?
it isn't my actual name.
What? I've been lied to.
We're all like telling our identities now, so
Yeah.
it's me. Yeah,
Dad?
My name's Carl and I'm an alcoholic.
You're making me one, mate. Every week now I'm having a drink. I've actually gone for a recorder league. So you know, people that have been making ciders for a long time now, compared to this Stella Ponce strawberry apple cider. This is actually wild berries, and funny enough, there's wild berries on the front. So you know,
You
if
actually
if
know
you
what
look,
it's
yeah, you
got
know
on
what
it.
you're drinking with this. So it's actually quite good, but it's gluten free and vegan, which I never knew.
Oh, have you gone vegan?
I haven't, no, but apparently I have now.
Mm.
But I've kind of topped it up with a non-vegan Oriental Crackers Sensations
Mm.
Pecan Spare Rib.
Oh my god,
So,
I'll dig into those.
You know, anyone want one?
Yes,
Because
please.
I'm not going to lie, they are the tip.
Yeah, I'll try one of them, mate. Why not?
I think Lou's just checking his missus still conscious from that beating, but
They're
yeah.
amazing.
cheers, 'cause it's going down really,
That
really nice.
really tastes like Chinese food, like Chinese prawn crackers. Like.
It's almost like it's called Chinese Sensations for a reason.
Yeah,
isn't
but like it
It's-
really
it's-
does
yeah.
taste
meant
like,
to
as
be.
opposed
Yeah.
to something that would
It's
you'd
not
normally
Like the roast chicken that don't taste like chicken waffles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, they're nice.
They're Oriental,
They
not
are.
Chinese.
Oh, that's true. You've made an assumption there.
Yeah.
Oriental could be
Racist.
Japanese, Taiwanese.
Talking of the French subtitles, mate, how'd that go?
If Taiwanese would be from Taiwan. Taiwan, yeah.
Yeah.
What's people from Thailand?
Taiwanese.
Are they just Thai? No, that's
I think they're
Taiwan.
Thai, yeah, I
I
think
think
they
it's
are just
Thai,
Thai,
yeah.
aren't they?
Is that just all it is? Because I was trying to list off the countries.
They're
that are
Thailanders.
Oriental.
Well, they call it a Thai green curry, so it would affect a Thai green curry made from, originated from Thailand.
Yeah.
They need to
Makes
make a Thailander. So like
It's
a
just
Highlander.
the Highlander movie.
Yeah.
in
Thai-
Thailand.
There's less swords,
Got
more
their kids.
It's a
needle
little tuk
taste.
tuk. It's a four-wheel drive tuk tuk. Tuk tuk. Fantastic.
Sorry, I just anyway, moving on.
I think it's a great
I think
idea.
it's like baseball, isn't it? It's like if only I could go to an island and make this happen.
So how's
You know
your-
they already have them technically. They're called quad bikes.
just a quad bike
It's
with
a Thailander.
man on the back.
We've got it. We've done it. Marketing
go.
genius. If you want to employ us for your marketing,
Mate, they look terrible.
But they're delicious.
pork scratchings and the devil's toe clippings.
Yeah, they are. They really are. Like, do you know what put me off it? I used to eat these all the time until there was like hair, loads of hard hair hanging out.
You're a
of one.
barber.
Mate, I don't eat people's hair.
You deal with hair all the time.
I get that, but I don't put them
Yeah,
in
you
my
don't
mouth.
want to
mate.
ingest.
That's why he's become a barber. He just wanted to cut all the hair off everything.
I'm going to rule the pork scratching industry.
I will remove the hair. All of the hair will be gone.
Fry it and sell it.
Right. So, have you? Yeah, you've done your rating.
I'm
You've
done.
your
Yeah, I've done my eating. I've done my
introduction.
drink.
And we'll move on to the new guest. Introduce yourself. Tell us what you've got.
Hi there, my name's James, long-time friend of Carl's. I am currently drinking a Jack and Coke,
Oh,
which is a classic of mine. I've never got bored of it. As soon as I started drinking, that was one of the first things I went to.
Oh, it's a
Um,
lovely
Are
drink.
you a whiskey guy or just a Jack guy?
I am. I'm
No, I don't like taking whisks.
Not from Jack.
I'm not a whisk taker, mate. I'm not a very whiskey guy at all.
I do sort of like dabble in sort of like whiskies, but I just have a very varied range of different spirits I'm into. like
which
when,
we're going to talk about later.
Paranormal.
Wow, epic segue. No, when sort of like lockdown came into effect, so all the social aspects of doing
Right.
stuff went out. So rather than going out having pints, I sort of like bought a few different
Indoor alcoholics.
drinks. Oh yeah,
Stay
it's
at home
so
drinking
much more
spirits straight.
alcoholism at home is so much more convenient. You can get absolutely hammered and just go straight to bed.
Yeah, and for about £4.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's just really annoying when you call an Uber by mistake, isn't it?
Can you take me upstairs?
Yeah, I mean I've been I've been trying a load of different rums recently. There's a company called Dead Man's Fingers. Look into that name all you will. I didn't name it. Yeah, the hemp rum is absolutely
I haven't
outstanding.
tried the hemp. I got just a normal bottle of the black spice
Yeah, the
rum.
spice one. Yeah,
That was incredible.
yeah, really great.
really good.
It's very different to sort of like the standard ones like your Captain Morgan's and that, which is quite
It
good
keeps
stuff.
it fresh as well. You don't always want the same.
Exactly.
Excuse me, same thing over and over and
Yeah.
over and over
It's
again.
good to change the palate, isn't it?
Unless
It
it's
is,
oxygen.
Unless it's oxygen.
Yeah.
Or
But
water.
then you do change it up because you've got a bit of carbon dioxide in there, you've got a little bit of nitrogen.
No, that is-
in
yeah,
there.
but you
in
don't
an
want
ideal
to.
world, mate, you would want.
Just
the
keep it the
oxygen would be
same.
good.
Well,
Yeah,
you
let's
because you
just keep
get
it.
high all
I'm not
the
going to
time,
sit
are
behind
you?
my exhaust, mate, and just go, fancy a change. Sorry.
Get a good old
Oh,
gas
if
room
I can actually taste
monoxide.
the hybrid in this one.
Yeah, and the snack I've got is like classic nice and spicy knickknacks.
Oh, you cannot go wrong with a knick-knack paddy
you
whack.
can't.
Absolutely. On the way here, so I was looking sort of the crisp pile of Tesco's. I just saw them. I was just like, I'm having them.
Yeah,
So
they are
have
the
you
one.
listened to the show before and that's why you knew, or did Carl tell you?
Yeah,
You made it.
yeah. So Carl told me about the podcast. I gave him a few listens,
What did
and
you think? Did
Yeah.
you like it?
yeah, it's really good.
Shit!
Yeah.
It was
That
I'm
was
not going to
not
lie,
my
if I just
intention.
read the messages now,
I'd say,
are you
mate,
for real? I've really got to do this. Why?
Why?
It ended there.
just with 15 Y's on here.
Question mark, question mark, question mark.
Why? Yeah,
yeah, no, it's a really good podcast. I've enjoyed it.
We try and keep it fresh.
Yeah, it's as you say, obviously the name of it is Proper Chats, Proper Chats. And the good thing about it is, yeah, you obviously have a discussion that is just sort of like general chat, but
Pub talk.
yeah,
That's all we wanted, pub talk between friends, because that's where...
that's why we go with the pub snacks. That was what it was meant to be initially. And then we realised after about 2 months of doing that, we'd be skint and the pubs would be minted.
Yeah.
No one really buys those
Unless
nuts.
we do it Monday to Wednesday.
Yeah.
We'll only be
Only
half
for
skint.
August. We've got to get 500
Half
episodes.
price.
I think I sat and worked out, because our weekly shopping for a family of five is about 100 to 120 quid a week.
That's not bad.
If we
That's what I
eat
said.
out
Yeah, it'd have been
3
£4
days
at
a
Lidl.
week, yeah, if we eat out 3 days a week, our week this month is cheaper for us, and we don't have to do any fucking washing up, and we don't have to cook anything. We just go out, grab something to eat, and go back. I had cheer again.
You know you
actually.
can do that for free. Go out, grab something to eat and come back. It's
You
called
can.
shoplifting, but it is, there's
I'm not a degenerate.
Doesn't
I
have-
may be from Arbury, but I'm not a degenerate.
Anyone else from Arby may be a nice person. We are not making assumptions on that matter. Please listen to our podcast and enjoy it, even if you were from Arby.
I don't know. Don't know about that. Right, so
No, actually, you do know
I
about
don't
that.
know about that. We took a massive financial risk moving out of that place. So
Okay.
today we're talking about ghosts and ghoulies and aliens and all.
Ghosts and ghoulies.
Ghosts and
I forgot
ghoulies.
we're in year 3.
Oh,
I know, I'm now repenting to my 4-year-old
and
slave.
everything fun.
Ghoulies? Let's talk about ghoulies!
So, you bunch
That's
of
what my dad called his bull. Right, so we're talking about
Did you see them in your room often then?
enough, as any child would. Yeah, everyone's seen their dad bull.
So, have we
Right,
all
we're not
had-
talking about
I don't
fun.
want to talk about it.
No,
we
let's
all
not.
had a paranormal experience of some kind.
Right,
Yeah.
let's just to clarify, it's not ghosts and ghoulies. We're
No,
talking
it's just paranormal,
paranormal
general,
and aliens
Just
if
cool.
we've got
Talk
time. If
about
not,
ghosts and their
shit.
penises.
yeah, we'll just keep it. We'll just
And
talk.
they're ectoplasms.
Yeah. No, it'll be mainly paranormal experiences, and if we bore each other to death, then it'll be maybe a bit about alien talk. If not, that's a different episode if needs be, isn't it?
Exactly. More content.
So let's say we're talking about, let's call it ghosts and ghoulies.
Ghosts and ghoulies. That's what I'm going to put on YouTube.
yeah, that's going to be the title
Ghosts
of the
and
episode,
ghoulies.
isn't it?
Ghosts and
It's
ghoulies.
got to be. So, who wants to start? Who's got the most fun story? Because I know some of your stories, Lou, are a bit fucked up.
Yeah. I've got
Crazy shit.
Yeah, I've got one really quite concerning story that happened in my childhood when I was about.
Remember, it's about ghosts and ghoulies, yeah?
Yeah, not just ghoulies.
Oh, I'm not talking about our father's genitals anymore.
No.
Oh, in that case, no, I've never had anything.
Let's wrap this up.
15 minutes, new record.
Yeah, so
I've heard.
I'm going to keep my sex life out of this, thank you very much.
It's very paranormal and it's not a lot of activity.
right.
Anyway.
So my one, I feel like we're going from a really jokey vibe to something quite deep.
I like that, though.
With very little transition.
Everything
Pub talk,
we're
though,
talking,
Yeah,
everything
it's
we're-
clients.
Yeah.
everything we're talking about now, we talked about on the way back from yours last time anyway.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah.
So
And absolutely shitting ourselves. Yeah,
So
like
when we-
goosebumps.
we pulled over for Lewis to take a piss and he just left the door open and the window down. Right.
Oh, my hand.
It was like that. It was actually like that. I was that scared.
Yeah.
As a 30-year-old man, I'm like
There's
terrified.
nothing worse though, is there? Going into it, you watch a horror film, just quickly.
I cannot stand.
And then
no,
you-
he's eating the wire.
Cables.
Right, you
Let's
stay
get the
there.
cables out.
Ashley,
Stop
we've got
it,
enough
you
pub
little
smacks,
bugger.
mate. Stop eating the wires.
Yeah.
But going into it like horror movies, isn't it? You think it hasn't bothered you until you go to the toilet.
Yeah, oh
And
mate,
it's
I
late at
don't
night,
like
it's
horror.
dark.
You turn the light off downstairs. And
You
sprint
run, don't you?
upstairs.
No
Do
one
you
does
actually
it.
do that?
And then,
Sometimes, yeah.
but then everyone's partner will go, "You okay?" And you're like, "Yeah, it's fine. I just
let's
fancy
start
the
with
job."
I hate it, mate. I
Start
can't
with
stand
horror
horror
movies.
movies.
There's only ever been 2 horror movies that have properly fucked me up, and one of them ties into the sort of paranormal side of it. One was Hills Have Eyes, the remake.
That
The other was
Mate,
the Simpsons movie.
That movie, I watched
should
that
have never
movie,
happened.
Watched Hills Have Eyes remake, and I was like, fuck that.
It's
Not
mental,
watching
isn't it?
that
Not right,
again.
is it?
Not like the fucking
when
baby
was that
shit.
remade then?
Like late early 2000s, yeah.
Yeah, I think I may have seen that.
Yeah, it's fucked up. Honestly, it's probably not true, but I was like,
No, but it's still.
yeah, it's still
Could be.
something that was. And I watch a lot of horror movies, and that was one of them that I like. Normally, I'd laugh through it, or you break the tension somehow. With that, I was just like,
You can't, can you?
whereas other people will watch it and they're like, it's fine. But for me, for some reason, it just fucked me up. And the next one was The Conjuring. So,
Oh, no,
and
yeah.
it's not the Conjuring film that actually scared me that much. It scared me, but it wasn't major. We've always, within my family, been going to spiritualist churches. We've had mediums round to the house, a couple of lodges before you get in there.
Oh,
like,
I'm gonna
"Fuck
say
you,
that."
man."
Put
One
your hands
of
up.
you bastards is going to do it. So,
Yeah. No, I won't say. I was
and
going to
throughout
say.
this, throughout anything, when I hear a story about the paranormal or I watch a movie about it or anything like that, if I feel it is true and I know in my sort of, I just know that's true, I'll get very tingly. Like the back of the neck, my hair, my arms, very tingly. So me and a friend of mine, Andrew, went to see The Conjuring. The only thing I watched of it before was the trailer, that was it. No research, nothing. So I got there and there's a bit in the movie where the guy that's playing Ed Warren is in a university and he's going and talking to all these people about the paranormal and the exorcism.
I
and
thought you
stuff.
meant education scares the shit out of you.
Not anymore.
Gives me tingles.
I was watching it and about third row, halfway through as it pans round, there's an old lady sat there and I turned around to Andrew, just full on knocked my drink over there. Anyway, so I was like, something's gonna happen to this lady. I could
To
feel
this
it.
glass.
Yeah, to the glass. That's now made me look like I've pissed myself. I haven't, by the way.
Look
That's
right.
later. So I
You
was
duck
like,
scared.
something is going to happen to this lady. I fucking know it. So I was waiting and waiting and waiting. Nothing happened. You don't see her for the rest of the movie. Started researching it in the car afterwards, and it turns out that is Lorraine Warren, who the story is based about. So I was like, that's a bit fucking weird. Me and Andrew just sitting in the car looking up about the film, and it's that information was there. So that for me was one of the things that was like, fuck me, maybe this really happened. And there was a book written
Wasn't it
about
based
it.
on a
Yeah,
true like
it's a book
founding
called
stock story? But
House of Darkness, House of Light. Haven't read it, but apparently it wasn't obviously as severe a haunting, but there was a lot of stuff that happened there. That was one of the things that creeped me out. Anyone else got an interesting story about
Is
their
that
worst?
as far as your paranormal?
No.
I watched the movie Ghostbusters.
And I knew that the woman was involved.
I watched Ghostbusters this week.
We'll go in. Not that terrible 2016.
No.
I've not even watched that.
The original.
It's horrendous.
Is
And
it
it's
really?
not horrendous because they're women. Because
They're
a lot
doing
of
a new
them are
one,
good
aren't they?
actors. It's horrendous because it's
Short women.
fucking horrendous.
Mate, they're doing a new one now.
Mm.
It looks
Britain-
It's
amazing.
horrendous because
Yeah.
they're fat women.
Is it Harold Ramis' or Zemeckis'
Yeah.
son? One of the two.
Yeah, and I believe Ivan Reitman's son is involved as well, who directed the
So
original.
it's going to be a Ghostbusters
Mm.
movie rather than what was pretty much just a
Right,
parody.
so it wasn't
Yeah.
anything like it at all. Then.
Best bit in that movie, out of all of it, was a cameo by Bill Murray, who is a skeptic, coming to these ladies saying that aliens are shit. Ghosts don't exist or anything like that.
I'm going to say I've been a bit.
And then
probably.
gets-
Aliens are shit in Ghostbusters. Hey.
They are.
Gets carried
He's
out.
right.
Gets carried out of a window by a fucking ghost dragon thing. That was it. That was the best bit in that movie, and the rest of it was just pony.
That's a shame, isn't it? Why
Yeah.
remake something if you're not going to make it better?
Yeah, it was completely pointless doing it, but each their own.
Yeah, have either of you boys had any paranormal experiences?
Well, I was just literally just remembering. Sorry, I know it's really bad, but when the Buncefield fire happened,
Yeah,
and your mum thought you fell out of bed.
there wasn't me, it was my brother.
Right, no,
Oh,
you've
yeah.
got that. Right, come on, elaborate.
This is
You've got to
funny.
say it.
I've got to let James do this.
Is it
Obviously,
funny
he
or
was
is it
there. Oh
paranoid?
mate, I cracked up. It's
Yeah,
fucking brilliant.
so Buncefield was that massive oil depot in Hemel Hempstead that exploded
Remember
back
the big
in
explosion?
2005. It
Right.
was the biggest explosion in peacetime Europe since the war.
Fuck now.
Right.
And now we've got Beirut.
Put it this way, I felt from Beaconsfield, which is like 25
Yeah.
miles away.
Really?
And I was
So
in
what happened?
water.
It just
So yeah,
in a
there's
factory or what?
yeah something basically
Rick
caught
Waller
alight
fired.
and it just ripped through the whole.
What was it then? What
unit.
factory was it?
It was a fuel depot. It's basically where they
like
transfer all the jet plane fuel to the airports. Mainly,
Yeah, mate, it was bad.
yeah. It went off on a Sunday morning, it was
How's
around.
that funny?
It's very I know the story, don't I? So for me,
Yeah,
it's
so you
like
remember
knowing
it.
of I'm like,
So
brilliant.
the day before, my brother and I had been to Wales to a gig. We got back late, and then it all went off. We were in a residential area, quite a built residential area, so we didn't so much feel the blast. We just sort of like felt the shock waves, and so there was this sort of like massive thud-like bang. We felt the attic door on the ceiling sort of like rumbled. And yeah, I was.
Shit yourself, didn't you?
I just wondered what happened, and a couple of minutes later, my folks were on the landing, so like wondering what the hell that was. I just heard them say, "Did Ian fall out of bed?"
It's like the equation of a fucking massive
Yeah.
explosion.
Yeah, and there they were,
Brutal.
innocently
The
thinking
funniest thing is,
that my brother fell out of bed.
imagine if they'd looked out the window and seen the destruction already, and then
Yeah,
questioned.
that's the thing.
And he's
So,
on the floor.
yeah. So
all of that destruction.
So from where we
did
were-
he fall out of bed?
So from where we
That's all right.
where we lived, what we saw was sort of like a glow and smoke. So we initially thought it was just sort of like a local bakery that had caught a light. But
What
then,
an assumption to make.
well,
there
Must be
goes
the bakery.
Greg.
yeah, but
It's not the firework factory. It's the bakery.
They're more likely to set fire, though, aren't they?
yeah,
Bakeries.
exactly. And I didn't think nothing
And
of
cook
it, and then I
corn
went
festive.
back to sleep. And then one of my friends, who was sort of like even closer to the blast, sort of like phoned me up, and they were like saying, "Oh yeah, the fuel depot's just
Did make you
exploded."
fall out of bed?
Was that Ian again?
Yeah,
That's
it's,
mad.
Yeah, it was just, the fact that sort of like that going up was sort of like the talk of national news and everything, and
Did
Yeah.
anyone die in it or anything like that?
no, because of the time it went off, and it was so close to some offices as well. There's big sort of like office complexes in the area, and yeah, if that went off during
Peak time,
working
yeah.
hours,
Yeah, but what about the people that were working in the... Surely they just got blown to smithereens.
when the fire broke out, sort of like everyone was able to evacuate before the
Okay.
actual explosion occurred.
Right, so they were all aware it was about to happen.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fucking mad.
Yeah.
Man.
The weirdest point was obviously the fire crew were trying to control the blaze, and the flame retardant that they were using. It was kind of like
retardant.
It was like this foam that sort of like is used, and the way you could see sort of like the way the smoke was going, it was just going for miles. To a point, I was in Apsley, which is sort of like a town just over from Hemel. So I was in Apsley the next day, and it was sort of like snowing this foam from where they were trying to put it out, and it had been carried up by the smoke.
Mental.
It was very strange, very strange week. The fact that all the sort of like the major news companies were sort of like, and they were pitched up around this area, not too far from where I was living. It was like this really mad media circus. And then when it went, when they put it out, kind of everyone went about
no one gave a fuck, and no one's heard of it since.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, no, cool story, bro, as they say. Yeah. Have you got anything more paranormal rather than?
Well, mine's more of sort of like a spiritual paranormal aspect. So there's this superstition that it's like spirits of the dead can re-manifest in the form of animals.
Yeah.
Commonly the robin.
My mum says that about my granddad, that he comes as a robin.
Yep, my granddad passed away back
Robert.
Comes as just dressed up in Batman, Robin from Batman. Just knocking on
Gee willikers!
I told you I'm not dead. Stop telling people I'm dead.
Anytime she's
I'm on a mission.
bit shitty,
He comes
there's
back
always
as a Robin.
Always a robin in the
So
garden.
my granddad passed
You're
away
such
earlier
a
this
cunt.
year.
Dressed up in
Yeah, just take the piss out of people's beliefs and their feelings, mate. You're such a cunt.
That's what this does.
So I'm not entirely sold on
You
the
can't drink anymore.
I'm not entirely sold on the
He
notion.
says in a Batman outfit.
But my granddad passed away back in March,
Right.
and during sort of like clearing out his house and everything, there was a lawnmower that we got him for Christmas, but he wasn't able to use, and so we decided to take it home and use it. First time I used it, there was a robin sitting on my garden fence watching,
100% believe
and he comes back every so often when I'm doing it. It's kind of like a weird supervisor. Just how
that.
I'm trying to hold it in.
Just ignore it.
I'm so sorry, I've just got this picture of Robin from Batman
On the fence.
just going to watch him mow the lawn. Just to check that he's doing a good enough job.
just Dick Grayson sitting on the shelf going, you missed that bit. Your lines are crooked.
Honestly, I'm crying.
You're such a cunt. Telling
so
a heartfelt
sorry.
story about his
I know,
granddad.
I'm so
You're
sorry,
pissing
mate.
yourself.
Why so serious?
I'm so sorry. Oh, so sorry.
100% believe
Yeah, I mean, I like I say, I'm not entirely sold on the notion, but just that the fact that the robin just appears and just is watching.
Oh, God.
He's lost it. He's done. Do we have to pause it and carry on?
Oh, we're alright, we're good. Yeah. Oh, mate. Just giggles,
My
proper
mum's the
giggles.
same. Anytime she's
They always
feeling
say
a
that
bit
with the
bad,
Robin, don't they?
a small bird
That's better.
Small red-chested bird.
with a red chest
No, I
appears
did,
in the garden.
I have heard
Yeah.
that as well in the past. That it is meant to be the spirit of the deceased.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well done, you, Carl. We'll wait to get on to Lewis's because his are fucked up.
Yeah, I've got a couple.
Yeah, no, it's been quite a few, to be honest. I've always been a big believer anyway. Sorry, I've been pointing towards the mic.
Just pull it up a bit, mate.
Alright.
Yeah, that'll
Yeah,
be closer.
I'll just like lean into it a little bit. No, I've always been a big believer anyway, like even without story and things like that. It's like in my head, it's like kind of what I said with like films and stuff like that. It's like I think we touched on it last time I was with you. It's like there's got to have been something happen to get substance to make these films. if that
Yeah,
makes
exactly.
sense. Do you
There's
know
no
what I mean?
smoke
It's like,
without
say for
fire.
example, like your Alien films, stuff like that. They all look the freaking same. Do you know what I mean? We all portray a ghost in a certain way, or like feelings. They always say like your hair's on end, you feel cold, all these kind of things.
An extra
And it's
sense.
kind yeah,
You say
and
that. There was a lot of people. Sorry to
No, it's
interrupt.
alright.
There was a there was a government program called MK Ultra,
mm.
and it was essentially
It's about
brainwashing
the
of the,
ultras for MK
No.
Dons, the football film.
it was brainwashing of the of civilization through media. That was practiced
Wow, when's that ever happened?
Oh yeah, exactly.
Never.
Exactly. It was stopped. I think it was 70s or 80s. It was stopped.
Yeah.
But they think, or some people think, not necessarily me, that the media itself is portraying and softening you up for stuff that may come along. Hence why, if there was an alien invasion and everyone that gets out is a little grey man, it's going to be already in your head. You're like, fuck me, I've seen this a million times. Why have I got to be scared? Or
it's fine. Will Smith will come and save the day. It's all good.
It's
all Batman and Robin.
It's all. That's why you see the same shit in movies all the time. That it's like, right, well, this is what may happen at some point in history. So they're sort of programming you to prepare for it.
Yeah, I guess that is
I just wanted to put that in before you carry on.
No, it's a fair comment. Like I say, it's got to have been there from somewhere, and I think we must be so naive to think it isn't a possibility. Like, some people are so cocksure and go like, nah.
It's because a lot of people only believe science, and science hasn't proved it. It hasn't disproved it, but it's far closer to disproving it than it is to proving it. But until there's 100% certainty, a lot of people will just go with the science that we already have, which is fair. But I'm convinced that there's definitely extra entities.
Something, do I think there's like a life after death? I don't know. Like, as in, do I believe that? I'm not saying I've got the answer and I don't know, but I don't know if I do believe that. I'd love to hope that you get another shot or whatever. I don't know, but the thought of nothing once it's over, it's a fucking morbid thought. You know what I mean?
What's the point in going through all the anguish and all the pain that people do throughout life, and there's nothing else after?
It's essentially blank screen.
Absolutely.
But what's even worse about it is you're not even going to be able to do anything about it. That's the most frustrating thing.
Yeah, but you wouldn't be conscious of the nothingness.
No, that's what I'm trying to say. So you can't be like, bastard. Like, you just don't even have that opportunity to say that.
But that means the only joyous thing is if there is something.
And I think that's what people hold on to.
Yeah, well, that's what the concept of religion, isn't it? Why they can control people. Because they say, if you're not good now, you're going to go and spend the rest of eternity being beaten by a big red man with a pitchfork,
like Little Nicky with the fucking pineapple up there.
It's a way of controlling people.
Exactly, but
we've got to a conscious level now where we want to even without the belief in God and an afterlife, we do believe that there's something beyond. I believe that 100%.
I truly do as well, and there's no one that's kind of pushed me to believe that. I think it's just all within yourself. Do you know what I mean? It's like people can have their experiences, but at the end of the day, if you've not lived their experience, how can you not really believe it? Do you know what I mean?
And how can you trust anything anyone says at the end of the day?
Exactly.
Unless you know firsthand.
And the thing is, there's so many people that, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of people out there who are just fucking con people.
Oh,
especially mediums.
Definitely.
So you'll get mediums that won't charge a lot and just want to help you, and you'll get others that will
charge a fortune,
and half the shit is complete speculation that could be anyone.
No, but you can be that vague as well that anyone can
make a general assumption that has a coincidental.
Because at the end of the day, people are going there because they've lost loved ones or they've lost friends,
they're desperate for something,
and these people already know. Well, fuck me, this guy or this girl's coming down. They must have lost someone, or they wouldn't be here.
And that's what I mean. They always go, "Oh, I feel like you've lost someone in your life."
Yeah,
and it's like, well,
I'm getting a person. It was a person. Quite old. In between the ages of 3 and 94.
How did you know?
I only really believe
that sounds like Alan.
My own experiences.
I was getting anal.
I've only ever believed in my own experiences through the feelings that I get when I'm talking to someone. Like I've talked to people. I've had lots of conversations with people about the paranormal because it's something that interests me. And I know when someone's telling me something and I go, oh yeah, it's getting too low. When someone's telling me something and I'm sitting there and I'm feeling these chills and I'm getting like goosebumps, I'm like, well, I know what they're telling me is the truth. Whereas I've sat there with other people that are like, oh yeah, by the way, I saw this or I saw that. And I'm like, you're just chatting shit, mate. Like, what's the point?
Yeah, so I remember well, my main experience was I went to Stratford.
Chills.
Yeah, you ready? You ready for this shit?
I think that's just you, Cole.
That's me, mate. If only you could see me down the mic.
Putting ice cubes on my toes.
It's that wet lap you have.
That's drying up.
No, so I used to go to Stratford
I've heard that before, isn't it?
like loads, because I used to have a really good friend over there. And literally the first, so home in Shakespeare. And the first time I ever went there, she introduced me to a bloke called Dave, which obviously ain't a very religious name. Dave.
It is,
but
Dave is a very religious
name.
name.
You know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
Dave on the street.
Oh, you mean, yeah.
Not in a robe, he wasn't in a robe and stuff like that,
Yeah.
just average Joe Dave. But it was really weird, because it's like, he had a shop which was all about, like, you know, it was a ritual shop, crystal healing and stuff like that, but he literally just like pulled me aside and he, word for word, now I'm not going to go into detail like what he said, but the things he said, he literally picked off like my half brother that died. He didn't even know I had a half brother. He picked off things that have happened within my private life, like when I was a kid and stuff like that. And no one knew this, like even my friend didn't know any of this had happened to me, but he reeled off everything, and pretty much to a point of date to date as well.
Really?
And in my head, I just burst into tears. I was just like, absolutely like, how the hell do you like know all this? Like, you don't know anyone to do with me. I've never been to Stratford in my life. And it kind of evolved from there. That like about 2 years later, like I'd seen him pretty much once a month prior to this and all that. I went on a ghost walk with him, and it was again of all places to go, Stratford. It's full of that kind of
Cambridge
stuff going on.
does,
And they do an amazing one. I've been
I need
with.
to do that.
Shall we do one in a couple of weeks if we can, and then
It's
podcast straight
incredible.
after?
Like, but honestly, this experience was like things I've never seen before. Do you know what I mean? It's like you go in certain rooms and you having to like double take. Like you think, fucking hell, like what have I just seen? And then he was just like, oh yeah, in this house, these people like burned alive in this room. But I've already seen before he's opened his mouth, and I'm like, shit, that's literally what I've just seen and all that. But then we went into like this one room, and then you got to all sit in a circle, and it was not pitch black, but it was borderline, like you could just see enough of everyone around you. And he was like, yeah, this was where a little girl was kept, but she was known to be like a thief, like in her life and all that. She used to go and pickpocket people, like, and bring it all the thing back so they could make money and stuff like that. And we just like listened to the story and stuff like that, and we went into the next room, and I realised my watch had disappeared. And shit you not, I remember like calling it up straight away. I was just like, alright, yeah, funny, who's taking my watch type thing. I was like, what you want about? Do you know what I mean? I was like, you just said. But honest to God, never found it. Never knew where it was, but I never even felt it come off my hand. Do you know what I mean? And things like that. And I know I definitely had it on me because I was like constantly like looking at it because it like glowed a bit and all that. And it freaked me out. And then obviously after that, we did a typical kind of like, it was a slide glass, not a Ouija board, but it was the same kind of concept. So it was more simple yes, no's and stuff like that. And there was about a group of 8 of us, and we all put finger on the glass like you do.
Yeah.
And it started doing its thing and started moving. It was like, can you say who you are? And it said, I can't honestly remember what the guy's name was, but it says, are you here to talk to someone? So in your head you're automatically thinking, please not me, please not me, please not me. And then it slid to me, and I was like, you bastard. Do you know what I mean? You want to sit there? I was like, I'm just here for the fun. I don't want to talk to you.
I know where your watch is.
Yeah. Look behind you. Like, there it is.
It's in Stratford cash converters.
Exactly that. And no, it was weird, and it literally, long story short of like a lot of questions being asked, I had basically wronged him in a previous life.
What?
So, yeah, and he's basically saying he wanted. I know, I'm a cunt in the previous life.
What did he want?
He just literally wanted revenge.
Give me
No,
300 grand in cash.
It was like taken. It was like, I have your child, so you fucking have it. I don't want to fight with a ghost or a ghoulie. Sorry.
Or a ghoulie.
Wow.
But yeah, it's just basically he was out for my blood. And David like did his thing and tried to close it off and all that, and I was terrified. And then straight after that, he was like, "Right, now we're going to do some table tipping." I was like, "Go fuck yourself, mate."
What is table tipping?
So table tipping is literally like a table like we're using now. And again, it sounds so shitty.
You put a cow on it.
Yeah, you put a cow and you just push it over. It's so funny, but it just picks you back up from the horrible time you just had. But mate, you literally again, we'd all say for example, there was only 6 of us that had done this one. And we all put our finger in the middle of the table again, and I shit you not, like the thing was like being tipped from one leg to another, and there's no physical way. Like if we all sat here and tried to move a table now with our finger, we couldn't even get it to budge, let alone rock. And then the things just started coming off the ground. So there we all are thinking, right, this is a fucking.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
So yeah, they called it table tip, and mate, it just messed me up. I mean, in the end, I was just like, I don't want to be a part of this. Do you know what I mean? It's like after I said today, I need to go. I said I've kind of had my not excitement, but
Yeah.
I'm close.
I just
to
found
knowing
out that there's a guy
there's
in
a guy that wants to kill me. I've lost my watch, so I don't know what time it is anymore. And we've just somehow managed to move the table with our fingers.
Yeah, I've had
and
enough.
there's a little bit of wee inside me now that has just come out. And
It's not inside.
it's
yet.
not out.
There's
No.
only a little bit left. There was a lot inside me.
Yeah, I mean that's just one of like stupid amount of experiences. Do you know what I mean? But that one I always remember. It's kind of like call it your virginity kind of thing.
It's one that sticks with you.
Fuck me, mate. Yeah, it was brutal.
So one of my first things where I like properly started getting chills, I went on a walk, ghost walk. Not this wasn't in Cambridge, but I went to the Edinburgh Vaults. And
That's
I
a
don't
long
know-
walk, mate.
I don't
That
know
give me chills.
if you ever go to Edinburgh, go in the Edinburgh Vaults.
No.
So essentially, the Edinburgh Vaults is a sequence of tunnels and caverns underneath the city of Edinburgh, where like the lowest of the low,
Yeah, that's it.
like poverty-stricken, it was like the prostitutes and the people that were going out stealing stuff, like the proper criminals. And the lady was telling us about a story there, and it was essentially when we went in, they were like, right, we're in this place. This is fucking horrendous. This place would have been like hundreds of years ago. But men have to stand on one wall, women have to stand on another. And the reason for that was they had a tour there, and a lady went down with the kids. They stood there rather than it being in rows like we were, so you can see where everyone is and you can't see where it was just sort of everyone crammed into a room, sort of it's just like weaving in and out like a normal crowd would be. So they go through, they do their bit, they go through their spiel about who lived there and like what happened there and murders and all sorts of stuff. And this lady realised that her daughter was no longer there.
Oh,
So
no,
she,
no,
mate,
no.
I'm getting fucking.
What, you were there at this
Yeah,
time?
no. No. This is one of the stories they were telling us.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Her name won't matter.
These
was it?
places, no, these places. Boom! This is where I need one of them buttons that goes. So no, and
Yellow card.
so they searched through all these tunnels and they found her, and this little girl was adamant that someone had held her hand and walked off with her.
Oh,
Yet everyone that was in that group was there in
Present,
that room,
yeah.
and it's like,
Ian
how
Huntley,
the fuck,
weren't
like
it?
you're just a mate. This is getting
Yeah, they
Oh,
come back at you.
Just like, yeah.
the one episode we reveal our actual names.
Yeah.
It's,
I am the beardy barber.
no, and that story,
so
like,
true.
that story stuck with me. But then I've heard other stuff like from you, and we done a Ouija board. We did it in Swavesey cemetery, not cemetery, churchyard.
Churchyard.
It's just
So-
exactly where you want to do a Ouija board.
Yeah,
Well,
we
shall I-
were
shall we-
thinking- yeah. Do you want to tell it? You
I'll tell it if you want. Yeah, so obviously I'd had, prior to this, probably about 8 years before, I had a real dodgy experience with that relates to a Ouija board. I wasn't there when that Ouija board was done, so this is the lesser but still pretty mad experience that we had. So us boys went into a churchyard of a village
with a homemade Ouija board.
Yeah,
we
with one-
bought. We made it.
Build it yourself.
We got ply. We made sure everything was spaced
All
out.
the-
We went
yeah.
and got the plant shard, the lot.
Yeah, and so we got into this church. Most of the boys hadn't done one before, and they thought it'd be
What
a
a
good
load of
idea
shit.
to do one. Let's see what it's like. Let's do it in a church. And I was like, yeah, fair enough. I knew someone that had been buried in that church, and I thought, yeah, we'll try and reach out to them, see if they fancied making a little feature.
Because that's exactly how it works.
Yeah,
isn't it?
well, obviously it doesn't. Yeah, and so we're doing it, and for ages it weren't doing anything. Everyone was starting to get pissed off. We're all putting our hands there. It's not moving at all. Or if it was just doing gibberish on the letters, not saying anything. And then, all of a sudden, it perks up really quick. And we're like, oh, is there a spirit there?
Not only that, because we're all friends and we've all got our fingers on it, and we're like, who the fuck's doing this?
Yeah, you
Like,
do.
are you doing this? And we're all like, no, we're not fucking doing it. Like, and it was just shooting around, wasn't
Crazy.
it?
So basically, we're like, is there a spirit? And as quick as you could move your hand, it shoots to yes.
Fuck.
We're
Quick
like,
enough that your fingers could come off of it.
Yeah.
yeah, and it shoots back to the middle of the board. We're like, have you got something to say? And it shoots to yes again. So we're like, okay, cool. So what's your name? And it spelled out, I'll never forget it,
No.
Festa Joel Happold, which Festa Happold is definitely a name that you'd imagine from hundreds of years ago.
What, from the Addams family?
Yeah, all those.
Well, yeah, Festa,
Yeah.
yeah, but Joel Happold after it, and I'll never forget that
Mental,
name.
isn't it?
But it's something that you wouldn't fake if you were with your mates. You wouldn't come up with a name
No, that's a
like
bit
that.
of a...
Yeah.
Yeah, it was too real, and there was another actually. So that happens, and it's just spelling gobbledygook. So we're like, what's your message? And it's just going to random letters, not spelling anything.
Yeah.
And it fucks off, right? So because we put goodbye and that on it, and we're like trying to guess it. It was like a really bad game of what's that, Wheel of Fortune, where we're trying to guess what it's trying to say, and it's so wrong. And we're like, are you trying to say this? And it should to no, and then it would come back and do the whole thing again, and we'd be like, are you trying to say this? Boom, no, come back. And eventually, we must have guessed about 10 times, and it just went to goodbye, and then that was it. No more movement for ages.
Fuck it up.
Then one of our mates left. We had 2 mates there.
Stephen Hine and Stephen Hancock.
Yeah, which both had the initials SH. And this other one, another spirit picks it up anyway. It's a bit more normal pace this time, so it goes out into the middle. And we said, have we got another spirit? Yes. What's your name? And that one does sound far-fetched because it said Heskey. Do you remember?
Yes.
He ain't dead yet. Yeah. Football did.
Yeah, his career's done, but...
Yeah, but it just said Heskey. And obviously we had a chuckle about that.
Yeah.
And then it just went, we like, have you got a message? And it was like, yeah. And it just went...
That was really weird, because you said, have you got a message? And then all of a sudden my phone vibrated on the side.
Weird, maybe we've got Heskey. Oh,
it is Heskey as well.
What are you talking about me, fool? I don't know why Heskey turned into Mr. 2. Profiling. Anyway, so it says this Heskey, and we said, have you got a message? It was yes, and it just said SH gone.
Oh.
So, which was weird because Stephen Hancock's had not long gone, and then it just went to goodbye. We're like, have you got a message? And so we were then trying to get hold of trying to get hold of him.
We tried, we could not get hold of him.
For about 3 days now I could get hold of him as well.
Oh.
Yeah, just that he had something wrong with his phone or something. Just, weird.
What's worse than that is, bear in mind, from Swansea
Maybe he
Church...
checks the Ouija board. Maybe it just came through. That's how he's gone.
We went...
Just to let us know. Oh, I forgot to tell the boys. Just send it out.
Phone died.
After this happened, we were like, right... Well,
no, wait, it's not finished yet, boy. Don't interrupt.
You just jump up.
No.
I did. I was going to say about the journey back. Are you saying that? You go.
No, well, I'll tell you what happened there, because I don't even know what you're going to say. So, and then the last thing that happened, so we get rid of this Heskey bloke. This other guy takes over, and again, doing a gobbledygook message, that we were saying, and we were like, look, we're probably there for about half hour trying to guess what this absolute spastic of a ghost was trying to tell us. And
he may not have been spastic.
He definitely was. Anyway, so we're trying, and we kept saying to him, because one of the rules of a Ouija board is you're not allowed to just take your fingers off and leave. No. Otherwise, the spirit then gets
potentially. Apparently,
and you have to try and smash the tumbler, or if you're using a glass,
you pass it through fire and smash it.
Yeah. So anyway, so it wasn't letting us go. We're like, couldn't guess its message, and we're like, we've got to go now, and it would be like, no, and then do it again. We're like, no, seriously, we need to go, and it was just like, no, and then spell it out again, and we're like, honestly. So then eventually we did just go, right, boys, fuck it.
Pass it through fire, smash it, and go.
Fired it, smashed it on the floor, and then what happened on the journey?
We nearly crashed 3 times. Bear in mind, the journey between Swavesey Church and Swavesey Services, what, 2 miles? If that, 3 miles, 4 miles? Yeah. Not much. 3 times we nearly crashed.
Yeah, but didn't we chucked the...
we chucked it out the window.
We chucked the Ouija board out of the window.
Because
as you do,
we're young, we're shitting ourselves.
Yeah, we're just like,
want nothing to do with it. See you later out the window.
I worked at Swavesey Services with the other SH.
Yeah.
And when we turned up to work, I don't think it was the next day, I think it was the day after, which made it even more crazy, where we pulled up in our car to park, hanging out of the bin was the Ouija board out of the North, and we were like, nah. So we went and spoke to the cleaners and all of that shit, and we said, like, is this a joke? And he was like, oh no, just someone put it in there. So we're like, that's a bit coincidental. So anyway, so we went and put it in a biffa bin. So we're like, yeah, that'll be sorted with. And then about 5 hours later, we're just having a laugh and that on our break, walk back into the manager's office, and the fucking thing's in the manager's office. No. We're like, what? How has this even happened? So we just went and smashed it completely into pieces. And then,
shit ourselves.
Properly
shit ourselves.
When you say about like the driving thing, I remember, because obviously we used to bowl together, didn't we, and stuff like that.
Bowl, as in...
Tenpin bowling.
Bowl, yeah.
And I obviously had to drive from Dunstable back to Beaconsfield at the time. And I can't think of the name of the freaking road I used to drive through now, where it was all just literally like country roads to get to
country road
Berkhamsted. So it was like
for Ashridge.
Ashridge, that's it. So I could literally, honestly, like close my eyes through Ashers. I did that journey so many times, and it was like a little mini rally track for me. I loved it. Do you know what I mean? It's always had a really nice, quick car and all that. And because it was like 11, 12 o'clock, I could literally go like that, tell you every corner that's coming up, every little bump and everything. And it must have been because we did. They used to do like a Thursday night late, like singles 1-on-1 match. And
singles night at the bowl.
Singles night at the bowl. And it used to finish about 11:30, 12 o'clock if you're lucky sometimes. Do you know what I mean? And I remember I was just like, God, I've got a really early start tomorrow. So I was like hacking round, and it was kind of like a hairpin corner that you go round like near the start. And as I'm like bombing round, honestly, I literally saw 3 kids just run across me, and I shat myself because it was so like.
It was 3 kids. Yeah, it was in your head.
I'm not going to lie, I wasn't doing the limit by even close. Do you know what I mean? So I'm
not by you're on roads that you know.
Yeah, I mean it's still wrong. I'm not saying it's right. Do you know what I mean? But I was like, sod this. I'd never used to see a car, but you shouldn't.
No, you shouldn't
take it for granted. And I slammed my brakes so hard that I actually felt like I went through them. Do you know what I mean? I was like, oh my god, like I've hit a kid at least. Do you know what I mean? I was shaking, I was sweating. Stopped the car, obviously turned it all off, got out of my car, and I was looking around everywhere, mate. For about 10 minutes, I was like trying to just spot what was any part of a person type thing. Do you know what I mean? And I was actually, I was like,
no, it's a brick.
I was shouting out, I was everything. I thought, I might have got lucky. Must have just
killed them all,
something like that. And it was weird, like talking to my friend that I used to see in Stratford. I told her about it the next day, and I was just like, look. This happened, blah blah blah. And I said it proper freaked me out, and she was going, "Oh, you do know it was an anniversary that 3 kids got hit round that corner
in a car."
Wow.
And I was like, "Yeah, funny." And she showed me like
an article,
and I was just like, "Yeah, that was him." Do you know what I mean? It's like I could literally picture it, and like even now it's like I'm on him. Do you know what I mean? Like thinking about it, and I was just like, but honestly, when she told me that and showed me, I was just like,
the thing is with things like that, it could. I guess it could just be like a lapse in time.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like maybe that's all that ghosts and stuff is, just lapses in time.
Yeah,
something when an event has happened
like
that
a ripple in time, isn't it?
Yeah,
thing.
Yeah, like a wave.
It was so trippy, like just visually feel that. Do you know what I mean? And I was just like in my head, I was like, oh great, but then in my other head was, fuck. I hope that wasn't me 3 years ago that killed him, and I'm just like reliving that moment on
and
that
you're just
road,
actually in a white jacket in a room somewhere.
Turns out none of this is actually real.
No, you're just being injected.
I think you're all right. I think you're definitely here.
What'd you do? I didn't feel nothing.
Shit. Wake up, Carl.
Imagine if you did that though, and your hand just went into it.
Through me.
Carl's a girly.
I'm not the ball sack.
Oh, brilliant.
I'm an innocent smoothie.
Tell them about your cat.
Oh,
so tell them the appliances one first.
Yeah, no, that's all the same story, bro.
Can we pause this?
But instead of that, I'll start with the lesser mad one that wasn't actually something. It was similar to what you were saying about the 3 girls. I was just laying in bed one evening, and
we were talking about 3 girls when I was laying in bed most evening.
Yeah, no, I was just laying in bed.
This story's fucking mental.
As you do. It's not. This one's not pretty calm. The other one's pretty mental. I was just laying in bed, as you do. Just turned the TV off, ready to go to sleep. Laying there for 10 minutes or so, and I thought I heard the door go from my bedroom. So you sort of look up and you're looking, and I thought my mum had come in. I was like looking at my mum coming into my bedroom, and she went over to add this little like bedside table that was probably about 6-7 feet away from my bed, and she just goes up to this table and starts picking up my aftershaves. So I had all my aftershaves and like inspecting the aftershave and putting it back down. And I was watching for probably 30 or 40 seconds before I was like, Mum, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
And just stopped, turned round, came up towards me, and obviously then I was like, what the fuck, that isn't my mum. And it came right up to my face, and it was this old woman, and I could literally, if I had a pen and paper and the ability to draw and an art degree, then I would be able to draw exactly what this woman looked like. And I was like, and it just disappeared. And my brother, because I was in bunk bed, brother woke up like, what the hell's wrong with you? Like, mate.
You imagine how fucking scared you'd be though if you wake up in the middle of the night and this fucking woman's in your bedroom.
Yeah, I just turned the TV on before I went back to sleep, so that.
And they say you were telling me as well. One of them a lot of people experience it around 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah,
because it's supposed to be the
it's
most
a myth,
Yeah, 3 a.m. is what's known as the witching hour.
But it's not actually,
hour, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just
I think it'll just happen wherever.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, well, because often, like the story you were saying outside about the mist that you'll get onto, often that is the sort of time that people see it. This story was in the height of summer. My mum and dad broke up when I was probably about 12 years old, and she just started seeing this new bloke, Robin. he liked robbing off on her or something like that. I can't remember.
Mate. So bad.
And so
you joker.
Sorry.
Yeah, so they'd started seeing each other. Got to school holidays, so 6-week holidays, and she decided we were going to go and stay round his for a week. So we'd spent the weekend at my dad's, and obviously when you're we had like pet cats, and we had no one to feed them, so she took the cats. Or the cats, or it was just one cat at a time.
What other cats would you have?
Yeah, no, we had feral cats.
Pet cats and feral cats.
Yeah. Yeah, so anyway, so she took the cat, and obviously when you've taken the cat somewhere, you make sure that cat doesn't get out, otherwise it fucks off, and you lose your cat. So everywhere was obviously shut and everything. And we turn up on the Monday, or Dad drops us off, or whatever it was. And then my mum said, "Oh, just so you know, over the weekend, this bloke he's called Alan actually. It's a bit weird that we were speaking about an Alan.
Yeah, that's a bit weird, yeah.
Yeah, said had a son. I can't even remember the son's name now, but he said it was James, and he said James we did a Ouija board on Saturday night, and it all went a bit funny, and they did it with James was 9. Yeah, he did it with a 9-year-old.
That's a bit
like
a bit young to be messing with the occult at that age.
Yeah, exactly. So he got terrified and shit himself, and it all started going wrong and saying disgusting things. So they were like, "Oh, enough's enough. Let's go to bed."
Yeah.
On the Sunday, we got dropped off on a Sunday actually, because it was the evening that we got there when it happened. He got up in the morning and gone to they did it on the back of a chessboard, made their own Ouija board, and they got up and it was covered in. This 9-year-old goes into their bedroom in the morning, and what was the Ouija board was covered in red paint, obviously looked like blood, and he said, "Look what I found this morning when I got up." And Alan was like going crazy at him, like, "Don't you know that this all went wrong? You know it scared Jackie," which is my mum. "Why would you do that?" And started slapping his arse, like,
got to think about
"What are you doing?"
A 9-year-old covered in paint anyway.
Right, and he was adamant, even getting his bum slapped and everything. He was promising, "Daddy, I didn't do it. That wasn't me. Whatever." So they disposed of that, and we're sat there, and we're watching something on the TV anyway, and everything's just a bit creepy. That we had that vibe in the house. It was before that time. I've been there a few times. It was nice. It was like a homely home. Yeah. No, but it just had like this dark feeling to it this time, and I could see the cat on the windowsill just wagging its tail, obviously wishing that it was outside, because it was in a new place, wasn't at home. And all of a sudden, there was the biggest bang, honestly like a firework had just gone off in the room. And Alan, to give him a bit of like an understanding for you guys, he was like a black belt in loads of different martial arts, like ripped up, not a scared sort of man at all. And he jumped up and he was like, "What the fuck was that? What is going on in this house?" So we're all looking around. We thought something had blown up. Like, is everything okay? And everything was cool. And then I was just like, "Mum, where's Smarty?" Which was the cat. Yeah. And she was like, "Oh, he was up there." So we were all looking around for Smarty, and then she goes up to the window, and on the other side of a closed, completely normal window that was shut.
You're not supposed to be letting the cat out.
Yeah. Smarty was the other side of the window, staring at the window, like completely petrified, just looking at. Yeah, mate, I'm getting the. Yeah, so that was just crazy. My mum and him and Alan start arguing, going mad about why is all this crap, weird stuff happening. Send us kids to bed. We're laying in bed, and like we felt like someone was sitting at the end of the bed and stuff like that. And it was honestly, it was the craziest, most fucked up experience. And then that was what I was involved in. And then they broke up not long after that. Bearing in mind they'd been together for quite a while. And apparently Alan had gone home from work, and gone into the house, and all of the electrical. Oh, actually, I missed the main bit.
Yeah.
Right, so because we were
leading up
there.
to the cat going
Yeah,
through the window.
so nothing really happened. So after that, we were there for a week, like I said. Cat had stayed in, everything was fine. But for a couple of days, nothing happened at all. No, that was after.
Was it?
A couple of days, nothing happens at all. And then we sat there on the couch again, and it was probably a pretty similar layout. So you've got the couch there, but the kitchen was like directly behind that wall.
Yeah.
And every now and then, you know, like the old school gas cookers, you'd have that clip that would send a spark.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it started doing it. So Alan pauses the TV. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And then maybe 10 seconds would pass and it'd go. And then 20 seconds would pass and it'd do it once. Then 3 seconds, so it was completely sporadic.
Yeah.
It wasn't like something normal. So me and James were like, we'll go and sit in there and we'll wait for it to do it again.
Yeah.
And we sat there for maybe 45 minutes and nothing. And the moment that we left that room,
He did it.
He did it.
yeah, and then that was it. That was the end of their relationship. Obviously, it was too much for my mum. We went to bed that night, felt all that shit. First thing in the morning, we went home. They pretty much broke up directly after that because it was just too much of a strain. And then we found out that he told my mum that he'd had to sell the house because he came home from work and all of the electrical appliances were turned on. Like all kettles constantly boiling, the microwaves on, the TVs on, the computers are on, even if they weren't turned on the plug. So they were. So it was like, right, enough's enough. I've fucked
A
up
lot
big
of
time.
people could say, well, it was just a bad wiring in the house.
Yeah,
or something.
you
But if they're not
With
plugged
everything-
in,
No, they're plugged in,
They were
but they're
plugged
not
in, but
turned
they
on.
weren't.
switched on.
Yeah, they just weren't switched
Nah,
on.
but
But
still.
with everything leading up to it, I
But you
would've
could,
been
Yeah.
looking
you
out
could
that
then
house as well.
argue that the whole thing was just an electrical short circuit, other than the
Yeah,
because
but
you could
those
say
cookers,
the cat had got out through a gap that we didn't know about. The loud
Yeah.
bang was something to do with the electrics. The
Yeah.
thing clicking was because it was actually an electric oven that was connected to
with-
gas,
with-
and that was. I
Yeah.
mean, you could justify
there,
that.
there
way.
is the area to logically explain
yeah,
it.
that is.
But in all those events leading after the issue with the
then it
Ouija
just
board,
seems it's all
how
too
many
convenient.
coincidences does there need to be before it becomes pattern?
Yeah, exactly. And then and then since then, not heard from Alan ever since. For all my mum knows, that was the last story that she heard from him.
Did Alan even exist?
Is he alive? What happened to James and Rebecca, her kids? We've not like that. My mum was a big part of their life,
Mm.
And now it's just
and they're just pretty much.
You
just,
say
just
that
said you
about-
can't find him on Facebook or anything, as you would
Yeah.
when you like look for him. I've never found him on Facebook or anything like that.
Mm.
You say that about the bedroom. I was just started dating my current missus. Her dad passed away a long time once she was a child. So one of the first times I stayed around her house, and then it started to become like an actual thing. We were staying in one of the back bedrooms that led onto the back garden. Every night I stayed round there, it was that tingle, and I'm just sat there going, I can fucking feel there is something else in this room.
Robin in the corner.
No, I could
Fighting crime.
Yeah, I knew it. I could just sit there and I'd feel it, and it'd keep me up, and I'd just sit there and I'd just stare at the corner, and I'd be like, fucking no, there is something there. 100% I can feel it. And I said to her, and she was like, well, I don't feel anything. I'm like, I'm fucking telling you it is. So we ended up moving, their 4-bedroom house, moving from that bedroom to the bedroom in the front of the house. Never felt it again. Every time I went in that room afterwards, I could just feel.
Weird, isn't it?
Yeah, I could feel it just creeping me out.
Yeah.
I never stayed in that room again. I'll always stay
In the other one.
in the other one.
My another paranormal kind of well, it is very paranormal thing that happened. My little brother passed away in 2012, and I shared a bedroom with him, and he had, obviously I didn't want to touch any of his stuff.
No,
It was
of course.
like, yeah, you just felt like you're in, like I just left it for his, and until the day I moved out, I didn't change or touch any of his stuff. And he had a football calendar on the wall, and it was obviously on August,
Yeah.
as it would be.
Yeah.
And then one day it just changed to the thing after, and obviously that night I'd had someone had slept round. One of my cousins had slept round. So when I woke up, I was like, why the
Yeah, you got
fuck? The thing is, it hadn't changed to anywhere near what month it was. It had literally just one page had turned, and it was on like a hook.
Yeah.
So you'd have to take it off, turn one page,
Yeah,
and
that's
put it back
then
on.
reset it on.
So
Yeah.
I went absolutely crazy at my cousin.
Why are
I was
you
like,
touching
why
his
the
stuff?
fuck are you touching Jade's
Yeah.
stuff? Went mad at my mum. Why would you do that?
Yeah.
You knew it. And they were all adamant they didn't touch it. And then almost directly after he died as well, my mum isn't very savvy with tech. So when with a TV remote, you've got like an AV button, so if you've got multiple things in it. So what we did is we painted one of the buttons red for her, so that she'd know what button it was that she had to press to change the TV.
Turning the TV on and off though.
Yeah. I think the power button was green in this. On this remote. So yeah, that's why we did it.
Damn you bastards!
Yeah.
You've been there for 10 years. I'll get this fucking film on, I promise.
Yeah, so with nail varnish painted this button, the AV button, and then it was literally like 2 days after he died. Bearing in mind that button had been painted like that for years. 2 days after, it had all been scraped off. All of the and obviously
he's just fucking with her.
Yeah, that is what it was like. It was like his little way of, I think, of like fucking with her a bit.
Yeah. And fucking with you, boss. Sounds of it.
Yeah.
He's probably loving it.
And there was a photo we took at your, I think it was at.
Was it my birthday?
It was I think it might have been Mimi's house where we used to play Risk, and I had.
You ever played Risk?
No,
I love
Risk.
I play it on my phone every night. Waste hour of my life on that game. Anyway, there's a photo. It's probably on Facebook somewhere, but we had this thing about on my shoulder, like by my side forever. I've got it tattooed on my chest for my brother, and on this photo, it's the three cousins, and you can see almost Jake's face just over the corner of my in like the light reflection. It's fucking weird. Almost.
There's
like
a lot of pictures like that. There's so many people that have taken pictures. Like when I went to the Edinburgh Vaults, you take pictures. I didn't see any faces, but it's always like an orb. It's like what Ghoulies. It's like either it's like water
all near his face. So.
But there's so many different pictures like that where there's stuff in it you just can't explain.
Well, I like all them pictures that I know it sounds really stupid. It's like where you see a really old photo from hundreds of years ago. Like I always remember one with Mesut Ozil.
Oh yeah,
where it's an old German.
He was
like
Mr. Ferrari or something. It was around that time.
Then all of a sudden, but it ain't right. Do you know what I mean? When you look at it, it's there's hundreds of. When I looked, I always remember like Mesut Ozil. He's got like the worst. Like face. You would think there's never another one of him out there in the world.
In the bug eyes as well.
Do you know what I mean? And it was just, it was freaky.
Yeah, there were quite a few of them, isn't there? Of people that look like they've just. Jennifer Lawrence has got one from another actress that was around in black and white era.
Wouldn't surprise me. I haven't seen one of her, but I'd have to have a look at it.
Do it now. Find the most like doppelgangers from the past, famous doppelgangers from the past. But yeah, so that's pretty much the extent of my paranormal activity. Anyone else got any
I had
substantial
an experience
events?
Seeing a UFO.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is
uncanny.
Yeah, it's wrong, isn't it?
That was uncanny that we said uncanny directly.
We're in sync.
No, he's in sync.
I saw what you did there.
No, you didn't even mean to. You didn't mean to. That was the biggest fluke. Biggest decent fluke joke ever. You heard it here first on Proper Chat. Like, follow, subscribe and share.
Of a Judy Zipper.
That one's got to be doctored.
Maybe that's why these people get super rich.
Maybe Eddie Murphy was playing.
Maybe they inherited their bank account.
Yeah. There's one here, Leonardo DiCaprio, where it's a lady.
I've seen that
well, I've just looked up one of Ellen DeGeneres and a man that looks not too akin to Abraham Lincoln. You've seen that, yeah.
Nicolas Cage.
He's got such. Oh wow! The thing is, what it probably is, guys, is they're probably part of the same bloodline. Look back, and they've just inherited the DNA.
Well, yeah, different nationalities have different genetic traits, so they'll have sort of like similarities.
Yeah, so it could just be that
it could in fact be coincidental that in that moment that gentleman or woman looks like someone famous.
Movies, isn't it?
Yeah, that probably is. They're just black and white.
Yeah, that is so bullshit. Look at the Jennifer Lawrence one though. But be careful searching for Jennifer Lawrence pics.
Yeah.
There's some very nice ones of her.
Oh, there's some lovely.
And we're definitely
her left breast is a doppelganger of her right breast.
They were definitely taken illegally, but every man in the world.
Yeah. That is
yes.
The same
thanks the cloud.
Yes.
Wrong, isn't it?
Yeah. Anyway,
So I've had
Thanks to Cloud.
yeah. Well, her iCloud got
Yeah. The
iCloud.
Yeah.
iCloud.
What about
got
a
hacked,
iCloud?
didn't it? And they stole all the nudie pictures.
I don't know, mate.
I'll send them to you later.
No, you
Oh,
don't,
there
really
he
don't
is.
have to, mate.
He knows all about it. He's just got his missus over there. He's like, no,
Really
never
not.
heard of it. Got no interest
Jennifer Lawrence, I've
whatsoever.
never heard of her.
Jennifer Rowe.
I can honestly say I don't know what she's
Martin
named.
Lawrence.
The Hunger Games.
I've never watched it.
What?
You've never watched The
No,
Hunger Games?
no, I haven't, mate.
She's in loads of shit.
Mate, I had to like starve for a living for like fighting, so The Hunger Games was like the worst film for me to watch in my eyes.
Triggered.
Yeah, no, but they don't eat a lot in the Hunger
Well, you
Games.
know that, did I? But it's just a name.
What is a fucking
It's
feast?
like playing Hungry Hungry Hippos for me was a bad game. It's like, no.
No, but yeah, but that was them eating.
Trying to
like-
eat the pellets.
In the Hunger Games, they do the opposite.
Well,
I should watch it then.
she was in American
was speaking to
Hustle,
someone.
Silver Linings Playbook,
Not seen either of
X-Men.
them.
You've seen the new X-Men ones.
Not the
haven't you?
newest ones, no.
I was speaking
God,
to
what
someone
is wrong with you?
talking about the Hunger Games, and this we're not really going to touch on this too much because it is conspiracy. And in
We'll
fact,
have to do
I'm
it,
not
an actual
even
conspiracy, but
going
not
to
a
talk
proven
about that one
conspiracy.
because that is something that down the line we could get highly sued for.
Oh, but
No, I'll talk to you about that. We'll do that off air.
Oh, right. Shall we talk about some UFO experiences? I've had one UFO experience.
No, mate, you had anal sex. That doesn't
No,
mean it's
no.
Might have felt alien.
Robin probed me.
I've had
God.
2. No,
he told me to phone home after.
no. I was
My breast became red.
I was sat at the park. This years and years and years ago. I must have been 15, 16.
Sitting at the park.
You act
Sitting
like,
at the
you act
park.
like you're really
Well, we
old,
used
mate.
to sit.
You're
I
not.
know. We used to sit at the park and get high all the time, or drink, or go to the golf course and do whatever.
Not play
No,
golf.
not
I don't
play
think we
golf,
ever played
no.
golf.
Have you done that yet?
No, that's next Tuesday.
Oh, I need to. Am I alright to come watch you do that?
Yeah, we're starting at 6:30 a.m.
And I'll be there at
6
8 o'clock.
I'll be at 6:30 p.m. when you finish.
We'll still be playing then, mate.
Oh, yeah.
So you did
72.
72 holes, mate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good luck with that.
Yeah.
Average 5 hours a hole.
You better
Like,
take some water. 'cause
Give it
it's
on
gonna
average
be
because you're
fucking
going to decline.
Exactly.
6.5 a day.
Yeah, that's 15 hours.
Yeah.
hot.
So, and there's 4 of us playing. So we're all just going to have to tee off simultaneously, I think, rather than taking it in turns because it's going to take forever if not.
Well, no, you can't really tee off all at the same time, mate.
Well,
It won't work.
No, that's true.
Nah, someone's going to get twatted in the head.
Especially at 6:30 in the morning. Barely woke
I
up.
haven't
yet.
woke up yet.
Swinging,
Bang!
swinging. Yeah, I know.
Now I'm
I
going
don't,
to
and the
sleep.
thing is, I don't even play golf, so we put a stipulation in that if you go 2 over, that's it. It's like you can't go more than 2 over.
Well, no, what you meant to do is don't go any more than 10 strokes.
Okay.
And that's where it kind of
I
leads
don't
to.
plan on having any strokes. That'd be awful.
You might do by the end of it.
Yeah, heat stroke. If
Yeah,
it's hot.
no,
No,
yeah.
it
Is
rain.
it raining next
Yeah,
week?
it raining.
Oh, if it's raining,
Yeah, it
it's
is
double fucked. You can't even play golf in the rain.
Yeah.
can you?
Oh, mate, I'll play it in the rain all
Where
the
do you
time.
think the golf umbrella came from?
The same place as the lasso.
I sent you this. Right, so you know
Yeah,
we were
no,
having
we
that.
sorted, but it's American, you dickhead.
It
So
doesn't
we're not
matter.
American.
Doesn't
I know.
matter.
Did you tell me to
Through-
put that
through-
stuff earlier in the garbage?
Mate, can you
Through-
can you just get rid of your
No,
aluminum can?
but what you
Yeah,
did
aluminum
say-
trash.
What you did say is the couch was set out like that, not the settee or the sofa.
Sofa.
You said couch, so you're just as fucking bad.
No, I didn't
Couch
say
doesn't
couch.
matter.
I'll rewind it. You did say
Rewind
couch.
it.
I can't. I'll play.
Oh,
it
all of
afterwards.
a sudden I can't
I'll
read.
tell you
Oh, it's deleted again. Start again.
The first clip to go up on the Proper Chaps Proper Chat YouTube thing is going to be the conversation between a lasso and a lasso, and you saying couch.
No, but the
That'll
thing
be
is,
it.
a couch is a couch in
But that's
both
a
language.
settee.
It's not called a cooch in
No,
America
but
or
that's
the
a
UK,
settee.
is it?
What do you call that over
No,
there?
but what
that
is it's
thing?
different.
Sofa.
We're
A
talking
sofa
about.
Or
or a
settee.
settee.
Listen,
Not a
we're
couch.
talking about pronunciation. So trash and garbage is incorrect. It's the same as saying aluminium and aluminum.
Fucking hell,
Do you
mate.
say aluminium
Don't
or
forget.
aluminium?
Both.
No, you don't.
Well,
You
you
don't-
just said both.
No, but what do you
Go
say?
and fill my car up with gasoline for me, please.
Yeah, I
Is
know.
that alright?
Just gas. Gas is
No, either way, it's pronunciation that you've completely fucked up. But we let you off.
because it's factually correct.
No, it's
you,
not.
You can say it both ways if you want to.
All
Well, you
right.
can if you're American, yeah.
On par.
No, if you're American and they called it a lasso, then
Like-
people would laugh at them the same way.
Exactly.
In a different reality somewhere, that has happened. and I've called it a lasso, and I'm a Yankee, and they've just taken the piss. And then I've accidentally called a couch a sofa. Anyway.
Giddy up.
So this was something that I saw a lot, like years ago, but it's only now when the United States Army and stuff are releasing a lot of UFO videos. I don't know if you've seen a few weeks back they released loads and loads of videos. I was sat at the park with a friend of ours, Tom Bell.
Are they wearing
we were
face
sitting
masks?
there. No, this is years ago, so we didn't have a pandemic. It was fine. So we were sitting there, pandemic, yeah.
Right.
We're not allowed conspiracy theories on this podcast, so we'll do that on a separate one. No, and we're sitting there, and I was like, what the fuck is that? And literally above us, quite high up, I'm talking thousands and thousands of feet, I just saw this thing just moving. I thought it's got to be like a plane or something, but it was too high up to be a plane because it was quite faint. And then I was thinking, well, it might be a shooting star, but then shooting stars are a lot quicker than that. And it was just going. There's no noise or anything, just going. It's a quiet night, it's a clear sky, we're sitting there. And I'm like, this is fucking weird. So we sat there watching it, try and film it on our phones, and that's just absolute bollocks, because phones back then could barely zoom in.
It was like a pixel
just
moving.
Yeah. It's like I couldn't get it. And we were watching it, and then it just stopped. And I was like, well, that's a bit fucking strange, because you can't stop a plane like that. And you can't stop a helicopter like that, because when it does stop, you're always going to get a little bit of movement. And this had just stopped, dead. So I was like, that's really fucking weird. And literally we were watching it, and as we were watching it, it just turned on like a 90 degree, just stood there and just went, and it was gone, like just fucking vanished. And I was like,
oh, she's fallen out.
Oh shit!
Some ghost has
She's
just
back
pushed,
in.
Some ghost
She's back in.
pushed that cat right through that window, but it is an open window. So.
It's alright.
That's good though. She obviously don't want to be out.
Bless her.
So
Yeah, we're talking about a cat, by the way. We've not just had like an escapee person. It's like,
She's out! Who's the seller?
get the trank gun. No, this thing just shot off, and it wasn't until I watched a video. There's a couple things, but there's a guy called Commander Fravor. He was a general in the United States Army. He'd clocked 4,000 hours flying. Like, these are fucking expensive planes, like sort of 60 million plus 70 million. Like,
60, 70 pounds.
Yeah. He followed one. So he was on a training exercise, filmed it all on their radar thing, followed it, and he said, his the people that they're reporting to back have said that this thing has shot from 80,000 feet down to 20,000 feet in a matter of seconds. And it's like there's not anything on this planet that can do that.
well, there's no pilot that could probably handle that either.
The G-force
You know what I
from
mean?
that
It'll rip
alone
you
is
apart.
going to fuck you right up. So as soon as I heard that, and I heard it on Joe Rogan, because I hadn't done a great deal of research on it until I'd watched that, and then I was like, it's just like what I saw. Like, for something to shoot off that fucking quickly, and to be from like, you're watching it there, and it's gone by the time you turn your head in the direction it's going. Like, it's fucking definitely aliens out there. There's got to be.
Oh no, like what I said earlier, it'd be naive to think we're the only fucking species
You would.
on this world.
Millions and millions and millions of planets, and we'd be the only intelligent life.
Well, I wouldn't
Not
say
a
intelligent.
chance,
but
Yeah.
only
Not a
I
like
can't speak for the whole population
No,
of this
no.
planet.
I just think that's fucking mental. Has anyone else had any sort of UFO?
I've only had like the standard groups of 3 lights in the sky that are there 1 minute and gone the next. I've never had anything too personal and real.
I ran home after
well,
that.
a
as
finger
well.
up a bum
I
from a doctor.
fucking
Yeah.
shit myself.
Does that count as a
No.
probe?
No,
No, that's a prostate exam, my friend.
Are you going to do a Peter and just sit in the shower? No.
I
Just rock.
had
I'm going to
something.
do a quagmire.
I had something similar to you, but it wasn't something that I saw directly, so I can't exactly say.
It was like a corner
I saw,
of the
yeah.
eye.
So, pitch black dark, walking home from night out, and sort of like look up in the sky, sort of like see the stars out because there's no lights around, and then I saw what appeared to be what could have been a shooting star, and then it stopped, and then it carried on,
Yeah.
and
At that pace.
yeah. So
Probably saw
yeah,
Hemel was
so
like,
that would
fuck that.
yeah,
Just
pretty
carry
much. Hemel Hempstead, nope.
I think we're probed everywhere.
Yeah.
Everyone from
Yeah.
Hemel. We don't
Might-
have to go
That's
that
a
way.
probe.
We might catch something if we probe someone from
That's the thing,
there.
you walk around
stopped and went, can we reverse probe? And
Yeah.
he went, no, of course we can't. How?
I think they might probe us.
Our immune systems can't handle Hemel Hempstead. Let's go to America.
Yeah.
The thing is, you walk around Hemel long enough, you believe in aliens. Like, it's a fucked up breed there.
It's like we're in a lot of places. You see sort of like someone at the corner, you're just like, are they human?
Are they dancers?
True.
Yeah, so and that's as far as your UFO
Yeah, it's-
experiences.
You know, to a point when I got home, I sort of like checked if there was any sort of like meteor showers or anything of that nature, and there was nothing on any
But
of
mate,
the...
you're falling out of bed.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only thing that actually happened.
Yeah.
Ian!
See,
I still think like big sports stars, they're aliens. I don't give a shit.
well,
What
like
anyone
in Men
says.
in Black.
Yeah, I'm
It's
not
like,
shit.
like
Yeah.
when Michael Jackson comes.
So, yeah.
No, but you said we
touch
laugh
him.
at no, but we
She's
laugh
a
at all
girl.
this shit. But we don't know.
You don't.
Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's like
Well, there's
how
a,
of them some stage so genetically perfect.
Mm.
Stuff like that.
I
do you know what I mean?
No, it is. I guess it is sort of genetically breeding the best that you can. It's
Yeah,
like we
but
do it
how
now.
do we know that that's not been done
see,
by an alien?
there's a couple of.
Or just by the government.
Yeah.
That are just literally using children. Like what's that program on?
Oh, what the
Amazon.
Identical Strangers?
No, on Amazon about the superheroes.
Oh, The Boys.
That is so good. Have you watched that?
I told you to watch that.
Yeah, I've watched
Haven't
it
you
all.
watched that?
No, gotta watch it.
Oh,
Yeah.
so
There you go.
Well,
We
you
watched
need
The
to
Boys.
watch
It's rated
The
like
Boys.
That
4.9
sounded so
out
wrong.
of 5.
We're gonna watch the film, the
series,
Series,
The
It's
Boys.
an 8-part series, all about an hour.
We
each.
should do.
Yeah.
Well, I could sit here and talk about that for fucking hours.
Yeah,
It's so
it
good.
is so
And
good.
It's
I hate.
brutal.
I absolutely hate superhero stuff. I've not watched any Marvel.
Well, the Invisible Cunt.
Just I hate all of that stuff. But The Boys is so different.
No,
to
it
that.
puts a better light on it. doesn't
Yeah,
it?
and because it was 4.9 out of 5 over thousands and thousands of reviews, you can't top that. That's obviously it is. So watch it.
I want to know at that point one of a cunt is though. Do you know what I mean? It's not actually rated.
Yeah,
It's
or-
probably
no,
some
no.
jobs worth that never gives anything 5 out of 5.
No, it'd probably be
Like,
someone
yeah, it's
like
really
me,
great.
'cause I wouldn't
4
have given it
stars.
5 out of 5 because it is about stuff that are frankly I'm not massively interested. So I'd do like a 4.5 just because the extra 5% would have been if there was a bit more titties.
Yeah. That's why Game of Thrones is like an 8.9 out of fucking 10.
Lots of titties.
Loads of titties.
We should just set up a side hustle as the titty review boys. So oh no, there already is
No,
one. That's
like
in a
Mr.
movie
Skin
somewhere.
does that, doesn't it? That was in Pineapple. Was it not Pineapple Express? Knocked Up. It's
Yeah.
like Mr. Skin. It's like you're just describing Mr. Skin. Flesh of the Stars. That was what it was called.
When they just say what exact second you see a bit of titty. Yeah, but watch The Boys. It's really good, and that relates a lot to what Ashley and we were saying about genetics and.
You're saying about like celebrities being aliens.
Yeah.
And there's
That's pretty much Scientology. There.
yeah, mate. Have you watched anything about Scientology?
Yes.
I've only seen Louis
It
Theroux.
is batshit crazy. Batshit crazy.
It's all
But
based
it's their
upon
religion,
on
so
the
I'm not
guy-
going to say anything about
Yeah.
it.
Well, it's the founder of it is the guy
L.
that
Ron Hubbard.
has wrote the most fictional books out of
He's
anyone
a
that's
science
ever
fiction
existed.
writer, but
Yeah.
not only is he a science fiction writer, but he's a shit
Science fiction writer.
Well, he's not.
It's
Some
like
of
terrible.
his books are huge, but then he did write
Yeah, 'cause
something like 40,000 books or
You're
something.
bound to make one good one, aren't you? You've only
Yeah,
made
40,000.
Yeah, now he's created a cult that you have to spend hundreds of thousands of pounds
Yeah,
to
exactly.
stay in to go up to the next level, which, you know, they make you sign a billion-year contract. So the Scientologists, right, they believe that your body is just a flesh suit
Yeah.
and your soul and your spirit and your essence will carry on to the next life. And you need to become a Scientologist and give their church, some people, millions
Millions, yeah,
of
exactly.
dollars, so you can be a good, I think they're called Thetans, which is the spirit, to go on to...
Sounds like
the
Mike
next-
Tyson
so,
talking
yeah,
about Satan.
Yeah, my back is broken.
Spinal. It's about the only quote I know from anything.
These people believe that if you're good within Scientology, your life will be rich and famous and whatever next time.
Yeah.
And they have to get plugged up to an e-meter, which essentially tells you if you're telling
How much
lies and
electricity
shit.
they've got left in
It is, and it's
It
like
looks
they're
after your home.
so-
You're using
and
too
it's-
much water.
They
See him stood
sign
outside, mounted to the wall, charging.
when they go up through the levels, they have to sign a billion-year contract. So you're saying your soul that goes into your next body is also going to become a Scientologist, and that. It's like these people are fucking nutcases. And the guy that
Tom
runs
Cruise
it,
was one of the first
he
ones to
is,
do
he
that.
still
isn't he?
is.
Yeah. He's massive on it.
Yeah, and the guy that is the like CEO of the church now, even his dad's like, I had to escape because they locked me up
They won't
because
let
I
me
wasn't
out.
going along with what they were saying anymore in this massive fucking pyramid
Sounds like a
scheme.
con.
And then they shut him off completely. And any time he goes to do an interview with someone, the Church of Scientology writes a letter to whoever he's having an interview with, saying he's batshit crazy. And
Did
it's
you
not
know,
even this guy's
that's quite a lot like the Jehovah's Witnesses. They're a very closed group, and if you can't leave, if you leave, you're never allowed back in.
So one of the celebrities that was in it, called Leah Remini, she done a Joe Rogan, which is well worth.
You say that, but they keep coming to your
and
house.
she keeps hitting on him.
Yeah, I mean, there's been some other stuff that Leah Remini has done as well with documentaries in trying to expose them, and the sheer hassle that she gets
Mate,
constantly
it's
throughout
mental.
is ridiculous.
And all she wants, right? She said, "Look, I don't give a shit if you've had my money, but the guy that runs it, his wife was like stuck on him like glue. That everywhere they went together because she has to be there. They're married. They are there together. Vanished, disappeared." 13 years have gone by, there's been no investigation, nothing, and every time it's just a letter that comes out saying, yep, she's safe and well, she doesn't want to be part of the limelight, whatever bullshit they say. And it's like, they haven't seen her. Even her own father-in-law hasn't seen her. And it's like, how can someone that's been missing for 13 years, no investigation?
Unless she's
nothing.
Maybe she's with R. Kelly.
Or maybe she's levelled up.
Maybe she's maybe she's her soul has gone on to the next one. But no, that, to me that's bollocks.
Yeah.
But anyway, going on to it, there's an alien species apparently called the Nordics, which are very similar to humans, but they're
I thought they were the
tall.
Vikings.
No, they're very tall. They're blonde, like the Swedes.
The Nordics.
Scandinavian.
Yeah, because
literally the Nordics.
and
That's how they've
what
just
could be.
So they've basically
They've ripped off Norse mythology.
And said, actually, they lived in the sky, not over near Denmark.
Yeah.
It's
mental, though, isn't it?
One of the
You just don't
biggest
know.
things.
You know, it'd be
I
good
quite
to try and get a Scientologist on.
They won't do
No.
it. 60 Minutes tried to interview them to find out where this lady had gone,
How long
and
for that?
she got fucking harassed. Actually,
59
episode 39 minutes. But yeah, it got
No,
harassed.
yeah, because they're going to approach that. If we said, look, they want to convert people. So if we said, look, you've got 60 minutes to do what you can to convert as many of our listeners as possible,
You're
they'll
all
take
going
it up.
to hell. No, I don't agree with that sort of religious bullshit.
No, because we'll just edit.
I'll tell you what.
We'll be like, do you want to
But
listen to
that's why
60 minutes of bullshit?
they
Just
won't-
edit it in afterwards.
They won't do it. I'll tell you what, we'll get a Scientologist. When you get a Scientologist on, I'll talk about the conspiracy theories. I'd like to do that.
No, we talk about conspiracy theories, just not
Not
fucked up
recorded.
No, we can
What?
speak about like 9/11 and stuff like that, but we're not speaking about other ones.
Right, shall we leave it there? It's starting to get late.
Yeah, man.
Past 10.
Right, cheers, guys.
Lovely. Thank you very
No,
much.
it's been
Thank you,
emotional.
James.
Thanks
for
for having
coming
me.
on. Thank
Yeah,
you,
cheers,
Carl,
boys.
and we'll speak to you soon.